to Wellington and to Horo News. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Gav. On Te Horo today, we have the maniac mob is on the rampage again, and Nake, the naughty taniwha, gets a good telling off. But first up,
the maniac mob has struck again. This time they've hijacked crocodile bikes from the waterfront and are racing around the streets like maniacs. They crashed into a hot dog car, sending hot chili sauce spraying over Sonny Bill Williams, forcing him to remove his shirt. So watch out, all you ladies. The police said that 2 teachers were knocked into the water where they were eaten by Whataitai the taniwha, which interrupted the national underwater croquet tournament. The maniac mob carried on their rampage by crashing into some of the Wellington Phoenix as they were returning from their victory at Westpac Stadium. We have managed to catch 3 of these undisciplined rebels and have them on the beach here in Wellington. Here's our on-the-spot reporter Douglas at the harbour.
Hello, I'm Douglas and I'm glad we've caught you today. Mrs. B will be so disappointed in you. How will you explain yourself?
Well, I've been good all my life and it's boring. So I decided to let my hair down and go wild and crazy.
I've been angry all my life and now we've got a new generation to train up.
Okay, enough of that. Now, what do you think of the Sonny Bill Williams incident and what do you think the mums would have thought about it?
It was no accident. We did it on purpose, just so he can take his shirt off.
Mums must have enjoyed it, but I don't think the dads did.
Do you feel sorry for the teachers that got eaten by the angry taniwha Whataitai?
Not at all. Everybody's got to eat.
No, they should have learned how to swim at school, like I did, so they could get away.
Fair enough. I don't know what the Te Horo School Board of Trustees will think about this, but now to the studio with Gabe and Tiffany.
interview. Thanks, Douglas. And now for something completely different. It was a lovely sunny day when Room 6 was travelling to Days Bay on the Dominion Post ferry on their city experience camp when disaster struck. With a mighty crash and gnashing of teeth, Nake, Wellington's ancient taniwha, smashed straight through the boat. Abruptly, the bow disappeared under the water. Luckily, everybody was safe on the stern, watching the international underwater croquet competition being held at the bottom of Wellington Harbour. Meanwhile, Mrs. B was shouting at the taniwha. Nake, hearing the sound of this famous and terrifying voice, stopped his rampaging and recoiled. In a deeply repentant voice, he apologised and volunteered to tow the ferry back to shore. We have managed to track down the taniwha, and he is in the studio now with Angus. Let's hear what the taniwha has to say.
Hello, I'm Angus Grant, and I have Wellington's, and I'm here with Wellington's famous taniwha, Nake. Hello, Nake. I'm so glad that you could be here only 5 minutes after your terrible collision with the Dominion Post ferry on the harbour. How do you feel about being yelled at so angrily by Room 6's terrible teacher, Mrs. B? Anything else you'd like to add? Very funny. Why did you attack the Dominion Post boat? Fair enough. Why did you come back into the harbour instead of swimming out and instead of going back out into the free ocean? Jeez. And what did you do to the scared children and teachers on the boat? Calm down. And finally, I think you better go back to the ocean so where you're out of harm's way. Now back to the studio for the sports news.
Thank you, Angus. And now we have the sports news from the 2011 International Underwater Croquet Competition being held at the bottom of Wellington Harbour. Wellington Harbour is proud to host this competition. Last year's champions Helga Crabapple and her team the Whizfires are competing for the trophy against the Black Mallets, New Zealand's top croquet team. The wharf is busy with people who are diving off the waterfront, fully equipped with scuba tanks, goggles and fins to get their place for the best views for the big game. Both teams are getting ready for this important finals. The Whizfires are doing some strange humming. I think they're meditating. The game has started but was interrupted 10 minutes later by Whataita Tarifa rudely eating two teachers with his mouth open and sending ripples of fear through the crowd before swimming off again. But wait, Fred the bullfetcher has mysteriously gone missing. Oh, presumably he's in the Tanifa's belly? We are lucky enough to have Helga Crabapple wharfside just before she takes the plunge. Brayton is the interviewer.
Thanks, Stephanie. My name is Brayton. I'm lucky enough to contact the captain of the underwater croquet team. Helga, what do you think happened to Fred?
Oh, Fred. Poor Fred. All we saw was teeth and tail. He's a goner. He has to be.
Did you see the Taniwha?
Oh, you couldn't help but. He was huge. Absolutely huge. And those teeth. Oh, it was frightening.
Was it disturbing when Nake crashed into the ferry right above the game?
Oh, those poor spectators. There was people jumping. There was just, it was terrible. Hey, but we're in the water, so we're able to save some.
How did it feel being the champions last year?
Oh, fantastic. But the Taniwha just spoiled everything this year. Never mind, we got it last year, so we'll just make do with that.
Well, you've obviously avoided the big Taniwha. Now over to you, John, with the weather.
Thank you, Brayton. Now for some crazy weather over the country. Red alert! Red alert! There's a 5-meter tsunami rushing towards Auckland at a speedy rate of 300 kilometers. So fetch your emergency kits out of the cupboard and prepare for trouble. Coming down the North Island to Napier, we bring you news of a hurricane which is flying down the east, destroying everything in its path. Taupo has a freezing frost that froze the lake, and now the cyclists are cheating by going straight over it. Another place affected by the horrible weather is Gisborne, normally a hot and dry paradise, but today there are heavy downpours and golf ball-sized hailstones. Poor old Poverty Bay. Now down to Horo, with a minus 30-degree blizzard blowing in from the south. I feel so sorry for the folk down in Horo. Luckily for the Room 6 City Experience Camp, Wellington has hit a heat wave and is almost in drought conditions with a high temperature of 40 degrees. So slip on some sunnies, slap on a hat, slop on some sunscreen, you Room 6 kids, and remember to have fun in the sun. That's all from me for now. Good night, New Zealand. We'll catch you tomorrow. Back to the news desk, Tiffany and Gabriel.
Thanks. We'll be sure to get that sun cream on tomorrow. Well, folks, that's all from us too. We hope you've enjoyed the show and we wish you all a pleasant evening. Thank you for watching and we'll see you again next time from the whole team at Te Horo Today. Goodbye in Nahora. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you again next time from the whole team at Te Horo News. Goodbye in Nahora.